if it goes the way and that entire region returns to being more of something along the caliphate, do you think the threat just exists because of just unfettered ability to plan, train, equip, and work on whatever they want to outside of, prying eyes to the best of our ability, and puts us a little bit more, I'd say, on our heels a little bit from a defensive posture?
Yeah, I mean, right now in Afghanistan, there's over 50 terrorist camps, 50 terrorist camps. Al-Qaeda had 8 camps in 2001. Al-Qaeda alone has 38 of those camps. So if you're training, no one's bothering you, no one's striking them. They have no one they're even fighting, right? So they have to come to the West to fight because they have no natural enemy even in the region. Even Iran is aligned with them, right? So yeah, they have the freedom right now to plot and plan, and that's what makes them more deadly, of course. They're not hiding.
Do you think the U.S. has a good strategy to deal with what's going on in Afghanistan or in Syria right now?
No, because they want to be done with both of them. So we're not striking these terrorist camps.
Good luck with that.
As you know, yeah. As you know, you have to hit them while they're training and planning. We're not doing it. So the plots are already operational, right? They've already trained them. They've already moved them. So we're really behind the curve. And until something happens, I don't think anyone's going to be honest about that. Because again, they want to move on from that region.
I know that you're not obviously directly involved anymore, but would you imagine internally in the agency that red star clusters are at least going up about this, that warnings are being issued, like people are paying attention to this, at least is getting briefed up?
In my opinion, because they've aligned themselves with Sirajuddin Haqqani, I think the agency is being played by the terrorists, and they're going to probably be one of the main organizations blamed by the American people when the attacks happen in the future because they've dropped the ball. They failed. I think it's a counterintelligence failure. Last summer, some of the heads of the organization, I think it was the head of FBI, one of the outgoing senior leaders of the ODNI, started saying the term, right, the flashing red, to kind of do a little CYA. But nobody has put the effort in to proactively work against what they see as coming. And then I don't know if you saw in this last week, Joe Kent testified. He was getting, brought into his role finally. And he said NCTC alone, right, has 1,400 Afghans tied to Taliban and IS-KP, 600 members of ISIS in the country. And that's only 3 terrorist groups he names. He didn't mention how many Al-Qaeda is in the country. So, I mean, those are pretty scary numbers. That's just 2,000, and he's not even talking about all the groups.
Yeah, God, the topic is almost one where it scares people away from thinking about it because you start thinking about those numbers. I mean, how many hijackers was it for 9/11?
19.
19. Okay. You just said there's 600, so 10% of that is still 3x of those 19. It's a scary topic for sure, especially when there aren't really precise answers on how to deal with it or even identify it, specifically here inside of the US, which it sucks because I feel like some people, even in policy positions, are like, I have a strategy. Let's dig a hole and put our head in it and then put sand over the top. And that doesn't work well.
That's where we are.
Yeah. God, that does not work well. On those, from the terrorist stuff, again, this is more just a curiosity question because I know it was a good mix for us, HUMINT and SIGINT. And we got way away from single source reporting just because it's just wildly dangerous. And for anybody who doesn't know what that means one report, whether a signal or just a human intelligence source saying, hey, bin Laden's going to go get tea in Kabul, which is a no bullshit report that came in one time. I'm like, I don't think that's true. I do not
Probably
think
not.
in 2010, he's going to Kabul. He's going to get tea, get fucked. I'm not getting on that helicopter. But what do you think the mix is that we're using to keep track of these entities? You think we're doing a good mix of both HUMINT and SIGINT? Do you think we still have good relationships on the ground from an intelligence gathering apparatus? How do you think we're doing from a counterintelligence, HUMINT, SIGINT, I know we're probably doing pretty well. There's some really smart people out there. HUMINT is, I think, a little bit more difficult to curate and maintain those relationships. How would you grade the U.S. in your estimation on that right now?
Well, in Afghanistan, I'd give them a 0 because remember the general leading CENTCOM said we lost 98% of HUMINT, right? So there's none. When we did our investigation in Libya, as you can imagine, we needed to find out if our terrorists were killed. So we actually went across all the the CENTCOM, it was CENTCOM and AFRICOM strikes, throughout Libya, and we looked at all the BDA, and actually, I'd say maybe only 20% of the BDA they put out was accurate, meaning
Really?
they had bad SIGINT. Yeah, meaning they had bad SIGINT or bad HEMAT. There were cases where they publicly said they hit an ISIS camp and they hit an AQIM camp. So that's how bad it was. They got the wrong terrorist group. So I'm really concerned that it's not where it was like when we were in, and it was we had tons of the collection, right? I think there's smaller pieces of collection now that they're making grander assessments based on, when in the past we'd have maybe 20 pieces of info before we took that strike. So I do think it's a lot more limiting. And remember, after the Abbey Gate attack, they killed that USAID worker. And remember, he was driving a white Toyota Camry. I mean, come on, in Kabul. Like, that was their intel. I mean, that's scary. That's not an eyes on the ground saying this is the right vehicle. So we're making some very dangerous choices off of limited information.
Yeah, that's like saying you're driving an F-150 in Southern California or Texas.
Yeah,
Texas is a better example of this. Yeah,
a white F-150. Okay.
Yeah, good luck. There's only thousands of those. Good luck picking that out over ISR. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get into elite shape, or perhaps just make improvements to your current level of fitness, check out the MTNTOUGH digital training program. You can try it for free for 14 days, and you can see the results for yourself. The app allows users to train wherever they are with minimal equipment requirements, whether you're in the gym or you're outdoors or you're at home. Users can access top-tier programming that fits into their lifestyle. The MTNTOUGH app offers expertly designed progressive training plans that guide users from start to finish. These plans are tailored to build resilience, strength, and endurance over time, preventing burnout and injury. The app features self-guided and follow-along coaching videos, allowing users to be coached through every workout step by step. This helps to ensure proper form, motivation, and intensity, regardless of the user's fitness level. The MTNTOUGH app delivers training programs built for the unique physical demands of mountain athletes, including hunters, tactical professionals, and outdoor adventurers. The programs themselves are designed by seasoned strength and conditioning experts, elite athletes, and military veterans. Start your 14-day free trial today and check out the results for yourself. And be sure to use the offer code CHANGEAGENTS, and I'm looking at it as one word, at sign-up, and you can get 40% off your annual subscription. Remember, use the offer code CHANGEAGENTS at checkout.